Well, hello, everyone. Good day. I'm Ed Lance. I am board chair of DomeFest West, and we're here with an awesome panel on the distributor's perspective. This is promising to be a very lively one. Thanks for joining. I would like to introduce our executive director, Ryan Moore, who will be moderating this panel. Hey, Ryan, good to see you.
Ed, how's Los Angeles? How's everything
Awesome.
going?
A little hot here, a little hot. How's the weather there in New York?
Hey, we finally cooled down, but yeah, getting a rainy day. So from coast to coast, we got it covered. Fulldome in the United States is coming to you live from the digital playground that is our Fulldome Forum. Thank you so much, Ed Lance, our board chair of DomeFest West. My name is Ryan Moore. You may already know me as the executive director of DomeFest West, and I'm super excited for today's conversation. It is an important one. A number of creators have come to our festival asking hard questions and saying that the answers were never given. They wanted to know, what are content creators actually making that is selling? What are distributors buying? And what are the venues buying? Well, today we're going to discuss that. We've got an all-star lineup, and we're just stoked about it. So before that, I want to shout out to everyone in the crowd. First off, our submissions are open, and we're excited to have our 2027 season kickoff. It just kicked off this Tuesday, so we're excited to have that, and we're excited to have every single one of you be a part of our next festival and bring the content to the forefront. Something that we're realizing we need to have a conversation about right now is about the new AI tools in the industry. So we are going to do exactly that. We are planning a DomeFest West community listening session. It's going to be a call that all can join, and we want to hear from you. We are not going to be giving our perspective. We're wanting to hear the community's perspective. At this point in time, it's going to most likely take place July 20th, but we'll go ahead and update that as soon as that poll closes on the Fulldome Creative Network. Also, I would love to encourage everyone to let us hear your voices. We have a new little system for suggesting future Fulldome Forum topics. We want to hear from you exactly what you want to talk about, the topics that you want to hear discussed. You'll see there's ways to suggest topics, and then also we would like you to vote up your favorite topics. The link is in the chat, and we point to that. Now, I'm seeing in the chat as well a whole bunch of awesome shout outs. Thank you so much to everyone for your greetings. Ian from Vancouver, Perry from Toronto, Darnell, St. Paul, Jonathan Williams, London. Hey, Jonathan. Great to hear from you. Dario, Portugal. Oh, Dario, I think you win the farthest. We got Michigan, Santa Fe, Costa Rica, Los Angeles. Oh, man, so many tools. But and hello, South Africa, the Witch Digital Arts. Angus, good to see you. You do win the farthest away outside of our presenter, Eda, who is coming to us from Seoul. And so we're going to kick off this conversation. I do want to just give a shout out to Mike Smale. He had a spill on his bicycle ride way into work, and therefore is not going to be joining us today. We wish him the best in his recovery. So we'll actually go ahead and kick the conversation off. Let's get started with Tina Rattermann. Tina, why don't you go ahead and turn your camera on? Tina's been working in the industry for a number of years, and we are so excited to have her be a part of this conversation. Not only have you been working with Reef, Big and Digital, but also you're now working with this awesome new platform, CineMetrics. So Tina, why don't you go ahead and share a little bit about yourself, your thoughts on the topic, and we would love to hear what you think.
Yay! Thank you, Ryan. Thank you for letting me join this group, and I really appreciate being here today. I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay, I hope everyone can see my screen. Thank you again. So yes, my name is Tina Rattermann, and I am the founder of Big and Digital, and I started my company in 2009. So I've been distributing since 2009 at Big and Digital, and I am also the co-founder of CineMetrics, which is software for producers, distributors, and theaters for performance and tracking. And I also, so I've been distributing full dome films and giant screen films since 2003. And I also have been a film buyer. I worked at the Louisville Science Center IMAX theater. We had an IMAX, and so I was the film buyer for the IMAX theater in Louisville. And so my goal is really to help producers bring your films to the market with clearer terms and workflows. So I'm going to start and just say, what are people buying? What are planetariums buying? And I don't really know if I have the exact answer. It's a tough one because it's all over the place. But I will share a few things with you that space, obviously, and it always does well. Oceans or water and ice do very well, especially in hot summers, but it's kind of different from the space versus the bottom of the ocean. So there's a lot of times theaters that I worked with want to balance that. So those are both good topics. Music and entertainment is definitely making its way in our industry, and it's doing very well. So there are just really good entertainment and music shows in the industry, Dark Side of the Moon. They're just really good ones. So that is something that I think theaters are way more interested in because they want evening program. And like I live in Las Vegas, so the Sphere's in my backyard pretty much. And now that everyone knows about the Sphere, they want entertainment. So hopefully planetariums will think more like a operator of a for-profit type of science center or theater rather than a nonprofit organization, because it's really important to think of it as and bring in that operating revenue for the theaters. And then the other thing also that does sell are the live action giant screen film documentaries. So I actually am distributing 13 of these now. I have a SK Films library, and they're really popular because their nature, their budgets are 3 million or more. And so the quality of a giant screen transformed film, even though it's transformed and doesn't fill the dome, and I know a lot of planetariums don't want that, and that's okay. But there also are a lot of domes, especially if you have a tilted dome, because the top of the theater in the back over the head is what is not covered. So if everyone's facing one direction and you're producing a giant screen film, or you want to, you can transform those and they can show in planetariums, and they do really well. Like in my history, half of my licenses are usually from full dome theaters and half are from giant screen theaters for the same film that's available in both formats. And the other good thing about the giant screen films are they really have strong marketing tools and educator tools, and education tools are really good for all the theaters for students to come. Another thing I have on here, just so producers out there that you know, there are really two popular runtimes. There's a 40-minute runtime, and those are best for your larger domes that are tilted. They used to be an IMAX dome, and now it's converted to a COSM or a full dome theater. So they prefer the 40-minute runtimes. A lot of theaters still also do 22-minute films. So if you have to pick, I would, for this industry, maybe the 22, but if you can make a 40 and also create a short version of a 22, that's going to give you the most revenue potential. And in addition to these topics, I have some points on my slide that, you know, your film has to be engaging. It has to have an engaging story. It has to be accurate. You must make sure there's nothing in your film that is like wrong, like a visual or anything audio, like something you hear, the narration. It has to be correct. It can't be made up stuff. It has to be real. And then a film should have emotion with the music and the story. It has to go up and down. Like you can't just be monotone through a film and tell people stuff. You can't just tell people stuff. You have to give emotion and make it an engaging experience. And you want to leave the audience wanting more. I'm going to talk about a couple of distribution models. So I do all of these, but I'm going to explain kind of the difference in them for the producers in the room. Exclusive distribution means that you're going to have one distributor manage all your distribution activity and territories. So that's the model you want if you definitely are going to keep producing films and you don't want to have anything to do with distribution. You should hire a full-time 100% exclusive distributor because their job is to manage all of your development of everything, to plan the release, to create your marketing tools, to plan your publicity, and then to do the leasing and start outreach to the theaters and let them know that that film is available or is coming if it's not finished yet. You want to start before it's finished to distribute and start distribution. But that's the model that you would want. But the one thing to think about with exclusive distribution is that that distributor is going to manage your China distributor and your Japan distributor and your India distributor so that you're not working with all those different companies, and they'll work with COSM and ENS, COSM, ENS, SIA, Skyscan, RSA Cosmos, Digitalis. So your main distributor will handle all the sub-distributors if you have an exclusive distributor. And both will take commission. So the distributor that does the license is going to probably take 25% of the distribution fee. And then your main distributor will probably take a commission. And I don't know which one, how high that will go, but some take 25% again. So keep that in mind. And then non-exclusive distribution. So non-exclusive distribution is where, and there are several of these, there are some producers in the industry who do this, where they're handling their own distribution and working with ENS COSM and working with Skyscan and SIA and working with each individual distributor that's going to sell their film. So you have to be careful with that because people compete and then pricing and it gets complicated, but if you have a price list, which most of the distributors use in this industry, then each distributor has the exact same price list and they must follow that because you don't want to have people undercutting other distributors. So that would not be fair. So non-exclusive, you have to manage all of that. And the other thing that you do have to manage with non-exclusive distribution is creating all the marketing tools and all the publicity and making sure you have all the assets for your film when it comes out for a theater that they're going to need. So you have to know what those are and you have to create that before you distribute your film. And then self-distribution, a lot of producers in the industry also do self-distribution. So it's not impossible to self-distribute a film. If you do, you need to, you can work with a consultant. There are several consultants that can guide producers through distribution, but where you do your own. I do that. I am starting to do, guided self-distribution. My model also includes CineMetrics, which is the software that manages the whole process from leasing all the way through the end of the run of a film and getting all your data and information. So that's a lot about distribution. I'm happy to answer questions again when we finish after. And then I want to share some practical steps for producers. And this is something that you want to be ready for, is you need to understand your target audience. So if you're producing a passion project or if you're producing a film that you think the world's going to want, you need to know who is your target audience for the film you're making. And I would recommend that you work with a distributor that will be transparent with you and also prioritize your film. So you want to look at what else they're distributing and know more about their distribution processes. And then you have to build a theater-ready marketing campaign. You have to have really good materials, and especially digital, which is what most theaters are using this day and age. And you want to create buzz. before the release of your film. You don't want to wait until you have a finished film and go, oh, I need a distributor now. No, you got to think about distribution before you release it, during production. It's really important. And you should know your film performance. You should ask for reports from your distributors and your theaters that are showing your film, and you should know your film performance. And so you're the producer, you own the IP, and you need to know how many eyeballs you're getting in those theaters that are seeing your film and how much money it's making. So that's my information, and I'm happy to share more at the end of the session. Thank you.
Tina, thank you so much. If you've got any questions for Tina, we invite you to throw them into the Q&A session. Let's give her some love. Go ahead and hit those react buttons. Let's see some hearts flying. And just really excited, Tina. Thank you for starting us off real strong. Now I would love to bring Eda up. Eda actually is coming from us. She gets the furthest away I think award, because she is coming to us from Seoul, South Korea. Eda, are you there?
Yes, I am trying. Hello.
Are you awake?
I am here and I am awake. Yeah. Well, it is quite late, but I am so happy to be here, really. And let's see, I'm trying to do my best. And it was already a very good introduction. So, but it is also a very interesting, actually, industry and happening a lot. That's why there's really a lot to talk. So I would like to try to now share my, let me see if I can manage it. I am, exactly, can you see?
Yeah, there it is. We're seeing the whole presentation, yeah.
Okay, so I am representing Reef Distribution. Reef Distribution was founded 20-some years ago by Peter Popp. And he's coming actually from the film industry. And when he saw the Fulldome, he decided, he was so impressed, and he decided to produce for this media. So he understood actually the power of this immersive film production and what it means. And when he started his very first show, it was Kalokahina, the Enchanted Reef with the fish. A lot of people, the whole industry was more coming from the planetarium side, of course, more focused on the space. And it was a little unsure if it is going to work or not. But the Kalokahina, the very first show, we still have it in our program after 20 years, and it made more than 5 million audience worldwide. So that was actually, that shows actually the impact of this immersive media and the idea, these different ideas. How can you come up with an idea which actually not existent in that industry, but it was the very first fish movie, but it was the very first movie also with storytelling. So, and something very, very new. How can you actually bring something very new into that industry? And that was one thing Peter and Reef started. And the other thing was actually when Reef started, the whole licensing model in that industry was quite a different one. So there were basically no real distribution. So the system providers, they used to sell the domes, the technology, but then with the technology, they would sell the shows, license the shows, and they would actually give them for the buyouts 50 years and the lifelong. And the first thing Peter changed, basically, that he says, no, we need to really start with 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, and 10 years maximum. And we are evolving with this. The needs of the domes are changing, and the financial situation is changing. That's why we are also coming up with all these different possibilities. Now, the short-term licenses, this is one thing, but on the other hand, there's also the possibilities with gate share or ticket share. That's what we call that gives the domes certain flexibility and it's also allocating the risk for the most of the domes. We will hear actually later about it, especially if the productions are expensive. They don't want to take the risk. There are these so-called evergreens, and they work wonderful. There's of course a resistance, and with this gate share model, we are sharing the risk. And Tina was mentioning already, you need to know when you produce, really, you need to understand your customer. You need to understand what you're producing. You need to bring the quality. And if
Is anyone else seeing a frozen screen? Just checking it's not my
Yep,
internet.
she's frozen.
Okay. Aw, she was right in the middle.
And Korea usually has really good internet.
Yeah. Oh, well, Eda, we are wishing you the best and hope to get her back. We will go ahead and jump to Becky in the meantime. Yeah, same, Ken. Right there with you. I thought it was me. I thought my internet went down. Anyways, Becky, do you mind jumping here on? And we'll go ahead and have Eda back. But Becky, do yourself. Sorry, could you introduce yourself and a little bit about where you are, where you're coming from, and then start sharing your thoughts? We'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. And thank you, Eda and Tina, for kicking us off. I am Becky LaBrecque. I'm coming to you from Marquette, Michigan in the Upper Peninsula. We're up on Lake Superior. I'm the director of the Shiras Planetarium here. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. Let me get some slides on the screen and that'll help us a little bit, I think. There we go. So yeah, I'm actually a full-time teacher. My planetarium is really a classroom in a high school. So that's a much different lens than many planetariums that might be watching today, or a different perspective than the Adler would bring for sure. But I think we're an unsung hero in the industry. I think there's a lot of differences that will bring value to your businesses as well. And hopefully everyone can take away some things that'll help them. But I'm in Marquette Senior High School. I teach full time. So I'm an Earth and Space Science teacher, astronomy teacher. And the planetarium is really just one class hour a day in my schedule. So 47 minutes a day is what I get to contractually give. Of course, if you know a teacher or any of us, we give much more than that. But that's really all I have. And then I do field trips and public shows. And I have a technician that I hire. And then we're self-funded. So the school does not pay anything for the planetarium. They put me in there 1 hour a day as part of my teaching assignment. And then they maintain the building that we're in as if there was nothing inside. And so they'll do the roof for, if heating and cooling issues come up, that sort of things. But otherwise, we're within a school and completely self-funded program. And we're very community-based. We just completed a renovation over $1 million. And so we have a new Zeiss dual system. And so we're really excited to be even doing digital things. I took over the planetarium in 2017, and that's right when we lost our projection system. And so we had an MS8 star projector and a classroom projector for many years. And so we began the long process of building $1 million in fundraising and doing a renovation. So I'm excited to share some of that with you today. Let's see. We're a really small venue, and we have a lot to do in a short time. And I think more than a limit of money is a limit of time. I think money is the planning problem, but time is something I can't solve as easily in my role. So that's really kind of the lens that I look at things through. And I will say my lens is very narrow and very specific. Like, I'm known for my laser focus and kind of tuning out everything else. And so I think you need that in these types of settings. And so what I say might not apply to everyone today, but hopefully it'll give you some of perspective. Eda's back. Welcome back, Eda. But anyway,
yeah, I'm back. So I'm very sorry. No, go ahead. I'll continue later.
We'll come right back to you, Eda. We're
Yes,
glad to
we
have
have
you back.
questions for you.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, and
Good.
my story leads into, I think, both of these ladies' stories. So it's kind of interesting how life has parallels like that. But my primary audience is students and teachers. That's who I primarily answer to, and administrators and school boards, and it's a very different lens than maybe some of you do. I also answer to families and public audiences, visitors that come into our community and expect to see a planetarium, community members. And then kind of a new niche for us is like wellness and arts audiences have gotten the attention. We've gotten their attention and as a performing venue. And then also we've been known for laser shows and live programming. Really, that was our lifeblood for when we didn't have anything else but laser system and a star projector. So we're pretty good at that. Our public setup, I seat it with 60 chairs. I could fit more, but I don't like those seats. I don't like that front row. I don't like the experience. I'm really big on the experience that our guests get and protecting that fiercely. I don't discount things. I don't give freebies. I charge $10 a seat minimum, which is very different than what we had before. People for years were used to paying $2 or $3 to come in for shows. So as you know, that isn't sustainable with, a digital upgrade in like modern times. We kept it while we were renovating, but so now we charge between $10 and $25 a seat mostly, and those $10 seats are a typical movie type of a thing, or a full house seated event with 60 people. We do offer some experiences that we want to be more intimate. So we limit the seating capacity even fewer. We remove some seats, and then we charge a higher ticket price. So it just kind of depends on what we're doing. The removable seating was a great strategy for us. That's truly been a huge thing for us for being able to do anything we want in that space. I have a wedding coming up in there. There's just so many different things we can do now that we wouldn't have been able to do before. So I would say the seating isn't as high quality as mounted seating that you might find, but it's high enough quality with the flexibility. Just it makes it so much more worthwhile for me. And then if you have a good staff and you take care of things, you can make things last. So you just have to have good systems in place so that you can keep those things as long as possible. Our field trip pricing, that's $4 to $5 a student. That's about as much as our schools can bear. And so that is where we're at with that. And that's an increase for them too. So that's a little bit about numbers. I'll get back to some numbers later. But I think one big thing for me is I'm venue centered, not trend centered. When I go to conferences or look at other venues or see what they're doing, I definitely absorb that information, but I'm always really fiercely focused on our mission. Does this programming fit our mission? Is it going to serve my audience and leave them feeling good about their experience? Can we afford to do that? Can I staff it? And honestly, does it protect our time? Because I don't get us into, like with the 9 years of experience that I have, I would say I used to get us into time intensive things, but now I've learned to tell when things are just going to take too much time. And that time might be correspondence with people, or, things that people don't think of, but the emails back and forth and the setup of things. Like if it's easy and you're well oiled and you have a great system, I'm going to use that system because it saves me time. So that's really what I look for, is very competent, efficient systems, and people who can deliver on what they're promising at a great price. So that's really what I'm looking for. And that's very different than what a distributor or a filmmaker would want to know. But and then does this help me build the vision for what I want to create for the future? And if it doesn't, it's out. And so it doesn't matter how good of a film it is or any of those things if it doesn't fit our vision and our model. So being fiercely committed to that can help propel you, or it can also propel the wrong things away from you. So it's a powerful decision. But I work hard first and foremost to protect the vision that our facility is trying to do, what we represent for my school district and for our community. And then I look at the experience. Is my audience going to like this? Are they going to feel okay about spending $10 and or more to experience this in a small community with not great income opportunities, that kind of thing? And then can we run it without needing a bunch of capacity for my staff? Because for me, staff is me. And also I have one technician with like 20 hours a week. So I need him to utilize that time really well. And so if we're chasing time intensive things, they just have to come off the plate. So my scarcest resource is not money, it's time. Money I can plan for, but the time is the tough one. And then I build everything around sustainability. That was the system I took over. I don't think people were as focused about sustainability, but for a small planetariums are closing, and places that are close and dear to our heart, they don't make it because there's many reasons they might not make it. I don't know why they don't make it, but something that I saw in ours was that like donors don't want to give to an empty bucket. If you're not able to generate money, generate attention, market films, deliver a good experience, then a donor doesn't want to support you when it's time for $1 million renovation, because you're probably not going to be able to save that much money in I know I'm not in a school run planetarium. I can't generate that much money. So I'm going to need donors when it's time again in 10 to 15 years to do more remodeling or whatever we want to do. So I kind of have a double-edged thing. Like I have to build the support. I have to make people excited about what we're doing with the limited resources that we have, and get their support and buy-in so that they can help us then. And then I have to have money coming in, because that's one of the first questions donors will ask you is, let me see your books. So if you don't have those numbers and you're not able to talk about them confidently and inside and out, then you're not going to be able to push your model forward. So I build on accessible pricing. It's the pricing. That's probably one thing that a lot of people complained about, if you will, or commented on, even administrators commented on, but I was very able to go back and break down why I was charging that price. And then, numbers speak volumes to those people. So like, if you want it to cost you money, I can do it this way, or we can run on the black and do this way. Like, this is what it costs to have a planetarium in your town and utilize it. So this is what we're going to charge, and people will get used to that. And that's exactly what they've done. And you're not going to be able to serve everybody. No business can serve everybody. So you'll attract those that are meant for you, that understand the vision and the process. And then those that it's not right for will go somewhere else. So that type of attitude might seem cold or whatever. It's just focus. It's focus on a goal. I need predictable expenses. I can't use percentages with a board. They hate that. They'll get 25% of ticket sales. Well, what's ticket sales? How do you know you're like, those questions are tough. So I need really concrete numbers that are easy for me to explain when it's time to explain them, easy for the public to understand if they ask questions, because they do in a school, and all information can be made public, will be made public if needed. And so it's important to have predictable expenses that are true, that you'll hit, that are, it's just less stress for you if it's that way. And so you don't want to get yourself into a numbers game. We have limited show windows. We don't do what most planetariums do. We don't show 6 showings of the same show on the same day. And we just can't do that. And it just depletes our resources. We show 1 showing of that month, and we hope you can attend. And if you can't, you'll have to catch it the next time when I feel like doing that again. It's just, we do that, and it builds, like, we have people emailing us, when are you doing this again? When are you doing that again? And that helps us know what they want to see again. But if it didn't sell out, it's not coming back to my schedule anytime soon. So because we just have to maximize our time in there. So the things that sell out make their way back a few times a year for us, and that's really what we do. We focus on sold out shows, not maximizing events, not adding events. Sold out rooms with great energy that keep people wanting to come back, and staying in the black. I don't ever want to go into a meeting in the red. I want to have money to kick off the next year. And so I don't lead with profit, but I try to maximize profit with what I can do and keep everything sustainable. Let's see. What do I think small venues need? We need things that are affordable, easy, understandable, concrete, black and white on paper, that don't change. We need a program to be flexible. One thing that Tina said is, like, big planetariums need 40-minute shows, and small 22. I don't agree with that. I need both of those shows for 2 different reasons. When we get into numbers, I can show you why more about that, but I need to be able to use it for a field trip. Then I need something that's like 22 minutes so that I can do a live presentation with that field trip and teach. We have teachers in the room for field trips, so we need a window where we can interact. Nobody wants to sit and get for an hour, and the hour is the field trip experience that most groups expect. And so you can't keep attention for littles for more than like that 20, really anyone. I don't know. I don't even know adults that want to sit too much longer than that, if they also have to have an interactive, like, experience afterwards. So I do a star show where I talk to them about a different topic. But public shows, if I only have a film that's 22 minutes, that's a little tougher because I have a tech doing that. We don't have a non-teacher doing live presentations. We're really particular about, you have a degree in this topic and you're going to talk to an audience. So he's just showing movies and showing laser shows back there. So if it's 22 minutes, sometimes people are like $10 for 22 minutes. That's a little rough. So those 40-minute versions work way better for that. So I need both of those, and I'm a small planetarium, so it's just something that's different for me. And it needs to be marketable and technically strong. If it looks cruddy on my brand new system, I can't show it. A lot of the older films they just don't look good on my system, and I'm not gonna. As soon as I press go on that, the audience thinks that's me, and I'm gonna tell you if it doesn't look good, it's not the Zeiss system. That's 100% truth there. But I need low friction. It's got to be easy. It can't take a bunch of paperwork or a bunch of time or a bunch of reporting or a bunch of stuff. I don't have time for that, and the results need to be predictable. I know certain films that are going to hit now that I'll be able to sell out with no problem. Those I use again. And it could be really great content, but if I can't use it, then it's not great content for me. I can go watch it at Film Fest and enjoy it, but then I'm kind of sad that no one in my town will get to see that because I can't do it. I can't afford it. So that's my short story. I have more things I could say. I'm sure I pressed a few buttons there, maybe because I think my views are a little different, but there's my contact information.
This is awesome. Becky, thank you for giving it to us straight. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
The honesty is fantastic. And this is also so great to have you as a venue. You're a smaller venue, but you're a venue that works and you earn every dollar. Eda, we are going to be coming to you here in a second, but Becky, you had said some things before that kind of break down the numbers. Now, all creators, this is your time. Pay attention. This is your time. Becky's going to break it down for you. What every venue.
I cannot hear
they're
Ryan.
all different.
Can you guys hear Ryan?
Go ahead. Go ahead and share your screen.
Let's see.
Or did we just lose?
Okay,
her?
hang on. That's me then. I can't hear anybody. Let's see. Oh, you're back.
Gotcha. All right.
Okay.
Well, small
Sorry.
disconnect. Yeah. No. I'm just. Do you mind actually taking us through the numbers? So, creators, this is the time. If your focus has drifted, let's bring it back because Becky will take you through the actual decision making for what goes into booking a show. So Becky, take it away, and then Eda, we're coming to you, and then Tina with some questions next. Go ahead, Becky.
All right, let me see. I think I made a slide on that. Let me see if I can find it. I'll go back to this.
Why don't you just kick us off the math? Like take it through the math and then just all the way through. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, let's just go with like a $5,000 annual film license just to make the math easy. So I have a 60-seat facility and I charge $10 a seat. And with the cost of running that film, like for staff in there, and maybe I do some advertising or whatever. I mean, I'm going to need to sell 600 tickets for that one title before it even just pays for itself. So, I mean, I have a city population of 20,000. I've got a county population of 60,000, which I do draw people. There's nothing to do in the UP. So we draw bigger than just our city. People will drive a couple hours to come to the planetarium. And then I only do 40 public film slots a year. We're primarily a field trip facility. We do field trips during the school day. And so, I do a very limited show. I spoke about that earlier. We try to sell out and maximize our audiences and leave people wanting more. And so we don't do more than that. So one title would use about 25% of our opportunities for films if we bought into that title. And if I did 4 of those films, then like Marquette would get real sick of whatever I got. So that doesn't work in a small planetarium. The only way that an annual license will make sense for me is if it has field trip value. If I can use it again and again for field trips to teach a certain topic, then I can afford to buy it. Otherwise, it's useless to me as far as this model goes. So I think that's what you wanted me to talk about. But yeah, the math is pretty important to do. And then for us, we lean on rentals a lot because it's math that I can very easily work with. I don't have to make a ton of money, but I have to make ends meet. And in that model, like the price is right there. I know how much it is. I know how long I get it for. It's the hardest thing of rental, I think, is like the support for the film. Like you don't always get the trailers and the support, like photos and things like that. But renting is something that we do a lot. So I don't know, Ryan, if that's what you wanted me to share, but there's some numbers for you.
No, please do me a favor. Keep taking us through all those
okay.
slides.
All right.
I have the curse of knowledge of knowing the good stuff you've got there, and we'll go through them quickly because we're going to get to a group discussion. But keep going through those slides, please.
Okay. So yeah, we offer less, not more. I made this mistake early in my career. I killed myself trying to do all the programming that everybody wanted and everybody emailed about, and I wanted to be like that. But that's going to stress you out. That's just going to crush you on a small facility. So less shows. Learn your marketing strategies and sell them out. That's your best, and use those numbers to guide you. Keep people wishing, I wish you offered that again this month. Yeah, I do too, but we're going to wait 2 months on that. And we're going to tell you that over and over again so that when I pop that film out, it sells, like half the seats sell instantly because people have been waiting for that. So that I keep them wanting more. I protect my staff time first and finances second. So again, I do have the luxury of not having to make a ton of money, but I have to make ends meet. But more show times isn't going to mean more revenue for you. It's going to, at least for us, it never did in a small town. It just dilutes your demand. And then you're just going to have 20 kind of mediocre people in your audience that aren't real excited, or you could have 60 people and feel a party in there. And that's what we want. We want that feeling. How do I decide what to run? I mean, I'll buy something if it supports field trips and public shows. That's the only way. If I can't use it in a field trip, I can't buy it. I can't not pay that much in a year or whatever. If I'm going to use it over and over again, then I can consider that. I rent stuff a lot. We need a lot of variety with lower risk, and the more distributors that could get on the rental train that have high quality films, I wouldn't even care if the rental cost more. If I knew how much it did cost, then I could plan for that. But I'm seeking higher quality films available via rental, or in a one show. Like, I want to show your film 3 times this year. What does that look like? That type of a model. Classics are still good and they fill a need. Like, there's those retro planetarium goers that they want to see Back to the Moon for Good. They want to see some of those shows that they remember. They saw them and they went to the Adler and saw that, like those types of things. So I do play off Adler content. Thank you, Mike. Sorry you're not here today, but a lot of people visit Chicago. That's near me, so we can offer that big city feel in a smaller venue. So that's definitely a model that we use, or we drop that name a lot and say, hey, we're a planetarium too. You can do that right here. Live programming is key for local connection. So that one's a little trickier because artists will come in and do different performances, and we need something to show on our dome. Lasers aren't always right for that. I'm pretty sick of putting together like nebula stuff. I can do a tour of the solar system, the universe, fly around things, but canned, beautiful cinematic things that people could watch while doing yoga, or see on the screen during a meditation session even without sound, with or without sound, depending on the situation. That's a new area that I don't see a lot out there. So show us the beauty in your local region and push that stuff out so we can have cool wellness events. Segments are good if they're good. I use them in field trips or class settings. So sometimes that flexibility matters more than showing a full film. So those can be good. I don't find a lot of them that are worth the money or worth my time. So it takes a long time to look at them. So if you had a cool collection that was put together in a way that people could see how they could use it, that would be better. So I guess for me, it's what's going to give my audience the best show for the least financial risk for me. Not the least money, but the least risk, something I know I'm going to be able to get my money back. And then I kind of look for 2 different things. Like, films need to be teacher ready. Most of them aren't. a lot of people say, oh, we have that. No, you don't. You need to hire a teacher, a good teacher, because you think you have that, but the stuff that comes to us is really not great. The grade level is often off. Uh, Kids have changed. The kids of today's classrooms aren't the same as the kids that we had 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago. And so the grade level that you probably have assigned to it probably isn't accurate. Like, you need test audiences. The standards, you say it meets the standards, but just using a vocabulary word doesn't meet a standard. If it doesn't help the teacher actually teach a topic and have after like discussions and activities, something to do with that information, then you're just a sit and get vocabulary session, which is very low level teaching. A classroom guide that had discussion prompts and teaching tips and activities that they could do before and after, that would help a lot, and things that are low cost for them, things that they would have in their classroom. Those are things that a teacher knows, but a distributor or a content creator might not. So consult a great teacher, and I think you'd have better stuff put out there. And then for audiences, a good trailer is important. I can't stand a trailer where I can't hear the narrator. I don't know if that's a strategy or what, but I have to be able to hear the narrator, because narrators make or break audience. Like, there's something for everybody. But if it isn't a fit for my region or the groups that I work with, or we can't understand, or I feel like that's going to rub people a certain way, it's a deal breaker for me. So I don't rent films that I don't hear the narrator in a trailer beforehand. So there's films out there that I just won't rent because of that, or I won't look at because of that. We need some still images, or we're just screenshotting crap and making it up in Canva. Like, if you want us to have good images for your film and promote you, then you should have some of those no matter where you push it out. So even if it's in a rental format, a little description that we can use is nice, or like even just some key points so that we can write a better description. The tone and pacing of your film, Tina was saying about the emotional hit, that's huge. The films that create a tear in the audience, money in the bank. Like, that's, people want to come back for that. They want to bring their friends. They're talking about it at dinner. If you're just teaching, you're missing the boat. It has to pull on their heartstrings in some way, and they have to interact with the film. Those films, like The Stellars is a great example. They interact with the audience. They have marketing tools. We have people that come back and back and back for that film, and they love it. And so it's just those little tiny things that they do that make it useful. And then, like I already said about the narration, and there's different narrators for everybody. Sometimes I think films should have multiple narrators as options for different regions. So that's something to consider if it was possible. I think it is possible. And then sometimes jokes don't hit in different countries. Sometimes I show a film and I'm like, oh, that's a little bit on the edge. Like, in a school, I can't do that. I don't want to do that. Some of it gets by fine, but then I've got emails to answer, and administrators like, what are you showing in there? Like, and some of them are just borderline, but you got to watch your humor with a show like that, especially if you're promoting things across countries. Have someone from multiple countries look at it and give you have someone that's not afraid to tell you the real deal, like me, because it's got to be school safe, or it's really a problem. So this is something that I didn't realize how much this was going to be an issue, but it's worth mentioning. Like, we have a Zeiss system that's pretty well respected. I'm sure some of you have heard of them before. And there's a lot of great systems now on the market. Many companies have highly improved the quality of their systems. And so then, and also people's phones in their hand are high quality. So expectations are high. If I'm going to put something on the screen in my facility, they're real high because they've heard about this great system that I've been fundraising for. So older content sometimes is not going to work, or the resolution just becomes too obvious, or it's glitchy. And so that compatibility really matters. And preview access matters. Being able to watch the same film that I'm going to show before I show it is important, so that I can see issues and we can try to troubleshoot them, because some of those issues, I'm sure many of you know, can be fixed. Maybe it's something we have set up or whatever. So, but if it looks bad on the DOM, it reflects bad on the Shiras, it reflects bad on the filmmaker, and it reflects bad on Zeiss, and I'm just not into any of those things. So that's important to me. I buy predictability. I like flat rental fees, clear terms. It needs to be predictable. The book process needs to be simple. I really don't want to talk to anyone. That sounds terrible, but I just want to go online and rent what I need, or look at things, or be able to look at stuff or have access to that. It can be behind a setup process, like a login or something, that's fine. But I don't want to have to have meetings and emails and webinars, and I don't want to do that. I'm really busy. And so those that can deliver that message without those things, they get upper hand and get us looking at them more frequently. Free stuff, I'll talk about free stuff for a second, because I was kind of excited about some of the free stuff that was out there when the content's expensive, you guys know that. And different, depending on what system you get, you get different things, and I was so new to it. I went to a Fulldome festival to try to see what I wanted to do. It was why I purchased The Stellars as one of my first films. And so free stuff is still, it's not really free. It has a cost to it. It's like a lot of times that has more of a cost for me, because I've got to like prep things, or figure out how I'm going to market it or test it out. And so it takes time and it takes money to do it. The other thing that's tough is a lot of them advertise pretty hardcore, either a viewpoint or a product. And so even the ones that it seems benign, it seems like it's not, oh, well, they're talking about something really positive that we want to talk about. I can't sell that because it's so heavily an advertisement, and people will complain about that, especially if they have opposing views. And like, everyone has an opposing view. I don't know if you've seen the country, but it's like 50-50 across the world. Everybody disagrees in some fashion. And so like, they thrive on it. And so those types of things are like red flag for me, because it's something for people to argue about, like if they don't have that view. And I don't want that. So those are some of the things there are good free films out there, so don't get me wrong. Please keep putting out free films if it's appropriate for your film. But those are the things that are tough for us. So I already talked about why we have removable seating, but this wellness stuff is new and really huge for us. When I started my vision for the planetarium, I believe that planetariums, like the untapped resources, the community gathering, and the healing that we all need to come together. And I'll get emotional when I say it, but I believe planetariums can heal communities, and these wellness events and those sorts of things are helping people think of these spaces in a different way. And they offer a really quiet, protective space that many communities need right now. So that would be, if I was a content creator, I would strongly look at those things, because that's a gap that I think we're going to see grow more and more. And it's a way that you can heal your community or help do that. I think I'm kind of repeating myself, but these are just some of the things that I said are important to us. It's got to be usable, teachable, marketable. I have to be able to afford it. It has to look good on my dome. Those sorts of things are deal breakers for me. I put this slide together. I won't read it through you, but if you are trying to market to teachers, these are the shows that we need. If you make something and you want us to purchase it, it needs to have field trip value. And if it doesn't hit one of these standards, it doesn't have any field trip value for me. Coming in for fun entertainment time only goes so far. Some buildings will allow that, but most buildings won't. They have to have tangible things that we can write down. So if you go through the standards, these are the main topics of the different areas. And then if I was to choose one of these topics, I would further dive into it. And I meet with a teacher, meet with multiple teachers. What do they need in their classroom? How are they teaching this topic now? And how could you bring something amazing to them? Because phenomenon-based teaching is really a big thing right now, where you pique someone's interest with this amazing Earth phenomenon that now we try to figure it out and explain it. And so planetariums are great for introducing some of those big topics together and then diving into them away from that. So, and then I also put some things for public audiences too. These are the things that we have people ask about or that might be interesting. So if you have more questions about that, just let me know. I think I'm finally done now.
This is incredible. And leave the slide up. Leave the slide. Oh no, bring it back.
Okay,
Bring it back.
Okay.
Y'all take screenshots right here. Take screenshots of this. The question: how many movies of black holes do we need? I mean, how many kids are interested in black holes? That should be the question. And anyways, take screenshots of this, everyone. Becky, thank you so much. That was so insightful. Trust me, already screenshot Angus, you're a champion. This is exactly what creators insight that creators need. So all y'all creators, let's give her some digital love. We're gonna jump into some Q&As, but before that, we want to bring Eda back. Eda, the long lost but not lost. Just it's in the
I
middle of the
made it.
night.
I'm back.
You're back.
That this is the country where actually internet always works in the past, but doesn't matter. Okay. Well, actually, that was wonderful that because now I can really wrap up things and actually bring together what I wanted to say. I don't want to now give up. Well, the idea of Reef Distribution, it was the beginning. I mentioned how it actually all started. But in the meantime, our goal is what we are trying to do, work with the venues and help them to reach more audience. We have handpicked 40 to 50 shows in the meantime, starting with STEM content and some astronomical content. And then we have musical shows, wonderful musical shows, but we have also, in the meantime, we call them transformative. And it's going to wellness and healing that area, and it's coming more and more. So the idea, what can I do for the planetarium? What can I do for the dome? And it is not only what kind of show, but it is also the question of how can we support financially? There are different models, there are different possibilities, and this is what as we Reef would like to do. And then there are other aspects that I just need to very briefly mention, that when you do produce a show, that you need to actually, that we have heard now wonderfully that some things they need to be inside, but then narration was one topic. We have also the translations. When we go to different countries, this translation, it becomes really something. And then you have actually, sometimes you will need different formats. You will need the 2K, you will need 8K, the LED domes are coming. And you will, at one point, you might need a flat version, and all these kind of things are, so these different formats. And sometimes it is helpful to have a distributor that has also some production possibility or capability, that they can also help with all that. And this is what we would like to do, what we are trying to do with Reef, basically. And we also introduced the streaming and the rental option, because this is one way of helping small and mobile domes, really, that we see a lot of, and we would like to, we are enriching our library every day. Actually, it's going to be, I have a lot of wonderful new shows coming up soon. So I have been traveling a lot, and we have also in Dome West Fest, opening eyes and seeing wonderful content. And we would like to now bring this content to the world. Yeah, this is what I wanted to say. So if you have any questions, please contact me anytime. And I'm very happy to either answer now or have a call.
Love that. Yes. Eda represents a huge portion of Europe. And if you're looking to get into the European market, there's very few people better to talk to than Eda. And thank you so much for the time. I actually would love, since you have been doing so much traveling, I did see you, Dome Fest West, of course. You were at Fulldome Festival Brno. I'm sure you're going to be in Jena soon. Just in your thoughts, what has been the themes or content styles that are rising right now, that are gaining popularity? Is it this wellness type content, or what are you seeing?
Yeah. I mean, astronomy is still one of the space is still one of the subjects that is still big. But the music shows, they are really doing very well. And I am very, very surprised, positively. We were waiting for that, and I am very happy to see that these so-called transformative contents, meditations or wellness or feeling well now, this using really the immersive impact of the dome. This kind of shows are coming slowly. And this medium, it is a medium, and it can offer so much. It can actually, the dome can actually work 24 hours. In the meantime, we have the content. 10 years ago, no, but now we can actually run a dome from morning 24 hours. You can really target different groups.
Awesome. Well, real quick, let's jump. We've got a group question coming up. I would love to actually have Tina jump on. Tina, and we're going to get to your questions here momentarily. Tina, can you help us understand? We had a small conversation about the difference between something that is distributor ready and something that is distribution ready. As a content creator, that might be a little hard to understand the difference. Can you do me a favor and kind of clarify what you were talking about there?
Okay, I'm not 100% sure. I think I know what you're asking me, but sure. So if a film is distributor ready, that means that you have done the homework and you've got it ready for the market. You have your marketing materials, you have your messaging, your marketing, your plan, your release date. You know how you're going to release your film. So distribution ready needs to be the quality, the content, the deliverables. You have to know the formats that you're going to deliver. And so if you're ready for distribution, it means you've already got all those formats that you're gonna have to deliver to a theater in the future. So that, I think that's what you're asking. And then, distribution ready means that you have a finished film, but you really don't have a distributor and you don't really know how to distribute, and you're ready for distribution, but you need to take that step to learn about your distributor options and to really find out how you're going to distribute your film. Is that kind of what you're asking, Ryan? Is that what we were?
How can people know when they are at the right point? It is always easy to think that your baby is ready to be seen by the wider market, but that may not necessarily be true, right?
Yeah, gotcha. Yes, thank you. Yes. So I highly recommend that a producer do rough cuts and get theaters involved before your film is finished so that you actually have feedback from the buyers and you know that there's nothing in your film that's going to cannibalize it, say, oh, because you put this in there, I can't show it. Like there are things like that where there's just one thing in a film that will cannibalize it and say, I can't take it because of you put alcohol in it. That was Old Man in the Sea in the giant screen world. Like there was alcohol on the table and it was like, no, we can't have cigarettes and alcohol with school kids. So like there's things like that. You have to think about that audience and really know that your film is ready for the market. But you do that homework before you finish the film. And you really should work with the distributor before you finish your film if you're going to work with especially an exclusive distributor, because they need to start preparing for the release of your film before you even finish it. And something I wrote down that like the points have been fantastic today. I mean, Becky, you like really covered a lot of good stuff for what you need to deliver for a theater. So thank you so much. That was really good. But now I forgot my thought. What was I saying? Sorry, I just lost my thought. Yeah, I don't remember. Sorry.
Yeah, you were helping us know essentially when a film is actually ready or not.
Yeah,
But
but I just went blank. I don't know what the point I was going to make at that minute. But you really do have to make sure that your film is ready for the market. And it's again not a passion project, because a passion project, if it's a passion project, you should have passion for your film. I get passion for the films I distribute. So if I have to love the film if I'm going to distribute it. So passion for your film is amazing and it has to happen, but it can't just be a passion project. You have to make sure other people have passion about your project. And if they don't make it. And that's the point I think I'm making is like, you have to get the theaters to say, yeah, you bring in advisors, make sure that you have that distribution set up. And then, yeah, and you start, oh, I know the point. Thank you. I remember now. Capture images. So this is kind of off topic, but it's not, but it relates to your being ready for distribution. While you're shooting your film and getting the footage, if it's live action or even animation, start finding your key art images early. Capture those magic moments during production that are stills that can be used for marketing, not always video. You need a still photograph. And a lot of times what happens is when we're distributors are starting your marketing campaign, if you can't give me really high quality resolution stills that I can use for posters and social media, then we're in trouble because it's hard for the producers to think about that when you're doing post-production and preparing to release your movie just to get the deliverables to your distributor. So if you don't think about taking those images and those marketing stills during production, it makes it really difficult on your distributor and on the marketing tools because you need those images. I've done a film that was animation and we had to get an artist to draw, like to literally paint the poster because we had no CGI visual effects on it was dragons. Like we had no footage or we couldn't pull images from our film for key art. So we literally had to pay an artist to illustrate the poster. So you really have to think about that stuff.
Fair, fair. And it's very easy for a creator to think that it's not a sexy image when you're in your living room editing a film, but there are ways to capture that are very important later on for behind the scenes. Great point. Becky, can you come on, and Eda, also turn your camera on as well. We're going to come in to you, Eda, here in a second. But Becky, you talked about renting a show. Can you give a bit more information about show rentals? What vendors are doing that? Is it a good value for you? Let us
Yeah,
know.
it's the best value for me. Uh, Fulldome rentals, like what was Loch Ness, has had rentals. So they have some offerings. So you can get some Keystone films from the Adler there, like One World, One Sky. I saw somebody put that in the comments. That's a great one for littles. It's a good feeling movie. People feel good about. I mean, it hits a lot of the marks. And even though it's not a brand new film, it still works for a lot of places, and especially if you're in a small town and they haven't seen any of that stuff before. So but that's one option. Reef also has started doing some offerings, and those have been even more. The quality is great for most of those films, and so they're international films. So sometimes there are some of the disconnects that I mentioned, but overall, our audiences have been very positive for many of those films. And then it's a structure that, like, I know how much that costs. And then a lot of or not all, Reef is willing to. If you're going to rent a lot of films, then talk with them about it and they'll come up with a plan that's right for you. And I'm going to guess that most distributors will say that today. I bet Tina has things rolling through her brain of how she could make things work for me too. I think it's most important to know what you need, be able to articulate that, and then, lean on these professionals that know how to deliver that. And if you're that's the biggest gap, I think, is not having a strong vision, not knowing what you need exactly and being able to say that. Because I think that's honestly kind of a dream for a distributor, is if they know exactly what you want and they can deliver that, then we've got a relationship going. So yeah, I think that's, but rental for us has been good. The scary thing is you're streaming. And so you have to be ready for that. Like, you have to have somebody technically savvy. You have to have a good connection. You can't have crappy internet or, a bad tech person that doesn't know what to do if something glitches or whatever. But we've had, I can count on one hand the time when we've had issues with that. So, but we do have a robust, internet system, and we've taken the steps to make sure of that. But yeah, I would just say, and then I've reached out to a lot of places to see if they would do different relationships. And sometimes the answer is no. And that's okay too. Like if you don't ask for what you want, then we're never going to be able to find the right fit for everybody. And I think it's such a diverse industry that I think it's just important that you articulate what you want, ask for it. Maybe a distributor is able to provide that and they just don't know you need it.
Completely fair. The relationship is everything in this industry. It's being able to pick up the phone and just vent sometimes. Yes, Ken, well done. Ken with some zingers today. If you don't ask, they can't say yes. Oh man,
Yeah.
well done. All right, so Eda, we're gonna go to everyone's questions. We got some great questions in here, but Eda, real quick, we talked about your experience finding films that feel programmable. In your mind, what's the difference between just like a beautiful film and a beautiful film that's a bookable film that people will buy? Is there a difference?
Yeah. Well, Becky, you did such a great job today and explained so wonderful. I can actually, it's very easy now for me to explain. The venues, all of them, they have a mission. In the end, either they do science communication, or they don't need to do any money, or they really need to do some money. I mean, there are all different reasons why they are actually doing that. And for that, if they understand really their target groups, that who is going to come, their audience, then they can actually go and then buy this kind of content. And then that would work for them. And then I have met so many directors after Fulldome festivals or screening some places. They said, I love that, but I cannot sell it. My audience wouldn't come. So why do people go to the domes? We were discussing many times. I have discussed that with so many directors. Why would they? Eda, they come because they would like to see something they cannot see somewhere else. That's why they would like to go to space. They would like to be underwater. So this is the immersive experience. This is experience. What you can really enable with different shows. If you can give it in a space, in a dome, this is what they're actually looking for. Yeah, and most of it is still science related. So if it is not science related, if it is not accurate, it is not well done, it won't sell.
Okay. Wow. Giving it to us straight, being honest. We love this. This is what we value in our community: transparency, honesty, accuracy. Well, let's jump into some of these amazing audience questions. Mindy, thank you so much for being patient. Mindy, with our first kickoff question for Tina. But Tina, I think Eda, also, it would be great to know your thoughts. And then also Becky, please jump in as well. But Mindy is asking, what is the feasibility distribution-wise for a dome format film that's like a destination film? It's a film dedicated to a specific location, whether it's the culture, the history, the stories of the region. Like what are the bookability chances for a project like that working well at a specific location? And do those type of films travel? Are there any planetariums that are interested in that? I think IMAX does this a little bit, right, Tina?
Yes, it's a great. Hi, Mindy. Thank you for that question. So yes, I would call that a culture film, like an attraction movie, like for a specific attraction. So for example, the biggest one in the giant screen world is the Grand Canyon, right? So there's a theater at the Grand Canyon, and there was a film produced, the Grand Canyon, and it's been showing at the Grand Canyon since it was released like 30 years ago, but it's digitally remastered and good now, but it's up-resed and everything. But yes, so there is, if you're producing a film for a specific museum or a venue and it's your content and it's something that someone else will want, I mean, it has to work in other markets. So when you're producing it, you do need to think about it. If you're going to distribute it beyond that venue, if it's something doesn't work, then I would edit it and have a local version and then maybe your distributed version. So they have two versions. If there's a need to keep stuff more local, that's not relevant for people who aren't there. So just think about that in production. But yes, there definitely are attraction films, places, like anything that's a place, like Alaska, there's a film. There's, there's the Amazon. Like there's just a film that is a place that sits in one theater can totally go to others. There's the Secrets of Great Salt Lake right now. That's a new film. That's that one is exactly. It's going to all those different types of places. It's good. Yeah. So that's an example of it's going beyond all the theater. It's going beyond the Great Salt Lake Theater.
There's some sort of universality in the film that
Exactly.
allows it to connect. Ed, are you saying this? They're seeing the same thing in Europe, where like a film that might be made for Bochum could play in other locations, and just using that as an example.
Well, yes, if it is well done, and in the end, it's a little bit also a game. It's the question how the venue is marketing it. So, and if they are really ready to spend this money for the marketing, because you need to, they know their audience, and then they need to reach these people, and there are more and more venues, they would like to, they reach their audience, the core, and they say, okay, how can I go beyond? And then this type of content is being interesting.
I could try adding
Yep.
to something to that. Like for me, those shows are interesting, but I need a cohesive marketing system. Like I can't show that every month. So what else am I going to show? Like if it was packaged with a collection of stories, now my audience is going to buy into coming back each month to hear the next story, or we're going to go to a collection of locations, or, now we're traveling together every month, and I can market that to audiences and they have something to look forward to. But the one-offs that don't seem to cohesively fit with anything else now that's work marketing. If you want to pack a punch, then you want to collab or put package together things that small venues could market as, like, this month we're watching this, next month we're watching that, and that's where the money shot would be, is things that could work together to have a cohesive but low buy-in for, like, I don't have to work at that. Like I've put films together and put events together, but if they came to me and was like, these are the 6 destinations that you can take your audience to over the year, that's easy for me. Then I'm going to commit to that because I can do that. So that's what I'd be looking for.
Some good ideas. Yep, Eda, go ahead.
Would like to add one thing. Yeah, because I'm just coming from Fukuoka, right, Japan. And I have actually already published that in LinkedIn. That's why I can also mention. So now my new actually idea from bringing fresh from Japan is I have a Japanese bundle now. And this is going to work for exactly, yeah. And this is a program for maybe 3 days a week. And we would like to actually take it from place to place, because somewhere in the world there is a cultural week or a Japanese week or something. So this is completely another licensing model actually. So we are coming up. So we are going to cater, we're going to really be international, but then, offer this little taste of Japan. And I am sure it is going to work well.
Hey, anime has some pretty devoted followers. So tapping into that market, bringing them to the planetarium, it's something that Japan has already done well, and we're learning from that. And it's really exciting to see the awesome work you're doing at bringing that over. So awesome. A big theme I'm seeing in these questions: portable planetariums. Becky, you guys don't have a portable planetarium, I'm guessing. Do you?
No, we don't. Our nearby university does have one that you can, like, check out and utilize. So I am familiar with them, but I don't operate one, no.
Okay, well then I told you all that I wasn't going to do this, and of course then I'm going to do it. But would any of you three love to take a stab at kind of the economics around portable planetariums? Should creators see these as kind of like an option for them to do it themselves and take their venue with them? Is there any experience at a Tina that you've had directly with people trying to
Yes,
run their own
I just,
portable?
yeah, just
Go
coming
ahead.
back from again Fukuoka IPS. It was one of the most interesting things actually. Now being with all these different companies working around also system providers, and well, the number of mobile planetariums is increasing. It is a market. It is growing, and there must be some reason that it is growing, and more people actually. First of all, there is more content. I think that it's really suitable, and then more people are being more creative in the meantime. Also, trying different things. We have one customer, for example. They go to shopping malls, not only the schools, but they go and do different things. They work also with kids. So it is there's this one they are using not very small ones, but the bigger ones as event location. They are doing working with big companies and brand recognition, and they are moving from one city to another, and they are sold out. Of course, it is not the mobile dome, but I think what Worlds did, it gave also an idea and also showed some direction. Okay, what could work? They have another system, but people are seeing and watching, and this is a proof of content, proof of how concept. How could that work? And I think this is now coming slowly. And on the other hand, teachers and the families, I think they are also being more open. They understood the power of edutainment and the storytelling, and they would like to give the kids really the possibility, having this kind of immersive experiences. Yeah, it is, by the way, financially absolutely doable. Yeah.
So that now there's the question. Financially,
Yeah.
these systems cost what, 10,000 euros, 15,000 euros? So over time, that's the low end. I'm probably aiming low.
Yeah.
Well, Eda, you fill us in, or Tina, if you want it, whichever.
Well, that they are starting somewhere there,
We'll come to you, Tina.
depending on actually how far, but depending it's the manpower, and then what you would like to go, and then if you go to schools and whatever. But it is, I mean, I have seen, I think most of them, they who became self-employed and working, traveling around like that, they get their money in no time back. Yeah.
Awesome. Tina, your
So
thoughts?
I was just going to add that for a producer, I think it's great if they can do their own dome and do their own pop-ups and, have their own event screenings, but that's a whole business operation. So you have to think of that as a whole business operation if you're going to do that. From a distribution standpoint, mobiles are not the biggest revenue generator, right? They're a lot of work, as far, not a lot of work, but they don't make enough money to really spend the time on those sales, because when you get it, it's like you get 25% for whatever that little bit that you get from that mobile dome as a distributor. So they're not a priority or a primary distribution outlet for a distributor. They're more of an add-on, a bonus, an add-on, an alternative. They're not the core of where you want to focus your time as a distributor, because it's not as profitable. And then the biggest issue with portables still is security for your IP, because a lot of the mobile domes want your MP4, clean MP4 file. And once you give that MP4 file to a portable dome or anyone, they can send that to someone else. So it's very difficult for distributors to, I, for many years, just wouldn't even deliver film to a single projector that didn't have security. Because unless I knew them, know them, trust them, they're in a museum. But if somebody calls me from a a Gmail address and wants a film for a portable in another country. And I'm like, hold on, you're not going to get this film. You have to be really careful because it's not secure, basically.
It's great to know that you're watching out for your clients that way. Another reason to have a distributor, they can make it so that you don't give your dome master away, and then it's showing in China to millions of audience members. Is there anyone, and let's just do a quick 30, 60-second response on this. Has any producer planned a version of a production aimed at portable planetariums? Oh, I don't know if I've heard of it. Have you all?
I don't know of any.
Okay, so Marco,
I don't think it's a doable concept though. I mean, you just don't produce only for mobile domes. You produce for actually, for different formats. It can only the thing is that for the producers, they need to be patient because the life cycle of full dome shows is long. So and this is the idea. And while you are doing this long term, you sell after 10 years, 15 years, still the same show. This is actually not normal in many industries, but in our business, it is normal. So while you are doing that, actually, you would like to really reach many venues, and you have different formats. So only mobile domes is not so very feasible.
Good point. Very good point. The long tail lifespan of these products is also something to keep in mind. Becky, do you know, you've played some of your older classics. Is there an old film? Can you give us a number of years? Like, how old of a film do you still play these days?
I don't show many old films. I do.
Okay.
I show Back to the Moon for Good. I show a few of the classic astronomy films just because there aren't updated ones. I feel there's a lack of updated films that are current that hit what we want, and so I tend to create live presentations for a lot of things. I just use Uniview and make what I want to teach with. So I spend more time doing that. My tech spends time, putting together images and things. But as far as content that we're buying, I think there's still a lot of room for new film techniques and updated films and resources. Tough part is that people can get, like, they're watching YouTube and seeing better stuff than, like, the competition is steep now. People expect high quality. They want a good experience. And if they're paying for it, they're going to tell you if they don't think it's good. And so, the bar is pretty high. And so in order for us to offer that and put ourselves out there like that, the quality has to be there too.
I'd like to add to that. It's really important not to do long licenses. This is distributors. I would ask distributors, I don't do a license longer than 5 years. A film needs to be fresh. You need to keep your content fresh. It's so important. And so if your film is so amazing and it does have an evergreen life, then they will relicense it for another 5 years. But don't do a 10-year license, and definitely stop those lifetime 50-year things. Like, just stop. Just everybody stop. It's not
Tina's
good for the
calling
industry.
for a boycott.
Yeah, I would echo that for sure. Because I think a lot of the choices that we make, that like Tina makes and we make in the planetarium, or that Eda makes, like, those have to work in tandem to make our industry stronger and better. We have to make choices that keep all of us here. And in order to do that, we have to find that middle ground as to what's going to work for each of us and how we can forge ahead with that. Because I think many people would agree that our industry is, in the balance. Like, we got to keep it going. We have to level up and get to the next level, or we won't exist anymore. And so I think working together to figure out those non-traditional relationships and the content and what planetariums need, those of us that are willing to look beyond what has always been and create something new together, I think that's where the success is going to come from.
Yes, and you're getting reactions. Everyone clearly agrees.
Awesome.
New content, revised content that captures imagination does well. And especially if it's new. I must say, that's what we love about Dome Fest West. That's what we love about full dome festivals in general. So I'd actually love to know each of your thoughts on the usability, the usefulness of going to these film festivals? And you've been to so many of them. Do they blur together, or are you actually getting good insights into new content? And same with you, Tina, and then Becky, on your side, when you go to a festival, do you actually come back and license that content? But let's start with Eda and then Tina. We'll come back to you, Becky. Eda.
Definitely. I mean, it is a must, and the idea actually of having that that they have different focuses. You know, the one of them is more open to new content, or the, let's say, the experimental or more non-astronomical, or, and the other one is really a little bit more focused on the only science and only science communication, only astronomy. That gives a really big actually range of and an understanding what is going on and what is happening, not only as a distributor. It is actually giving a really good perspective also to the directors, you know, who the buyers, that they need to see and understand. And finally, the non-astronomical content quality is increasing, and it is just so wonderful to see these wonderful shows, really. And you need to see them in such an environment. You need to see them in a big dome. You need to be able to talk to these other people. So this environment, it is very important. It's not only watching, but it's after that talking, sharing. Can I sell this? Would you want to buy it? And all this kind of, and then talking again over a glass of wine about it in the evening and the next morning. And this is actually what really, exactly, this is the sense, the heart of these meetings and the conferences and yeah.
Very good. That's right. Eda is exactly right. That was great. I agree that the film festivals need to be part of your marketing plan. So for me, film festivals are marketing plan points. So you need to be there and you need to show your film there. I, as a distributor, don't find that there are film buyers really there looking for content. It's more the producers showing off their content, or a distributor showing content that they're distributing, but it's more about I find that they're more about the production and the content, but then you get awards, right? So if you win an award at a festival, that builds toward your distribution success, because when you're getting awards, your publicity, the awareness for your show is going on social media through the film festival. So it's just part of a whole marketing plan that you need to have, and definitely need to participate in film festivals. And yeah, thanks.
Awesome points. Becky, your thoughts?
Yeah, I would love to go to all film festivals. And if my principal is watching, if he listens to this point, he can just reach out to me and I'll buy him coffee. But no, travel isn't always supported in the public education arena, but I have snuck out to a few conferences and I'm looking to do more. But it's a great way to feel the energy in the room. I definitely, I was allowed to go to the film festival when we were working on figuring out what content we were going to purchase for our first year with the new system. And so that was how we justified it. But it was absolutely because of that experience that I chose what I did. And I went against like what was recommended to me 100% because of the experience that I felt in that room and just a gut feeling. I also, people probably don't even know, but I was in an elevator with them and just their energy was awesome. And I wanted to be a part of what they were doing. And so I purchased their films. And I remember, when I was going through that process, they're like, why these films? I'm like, because like, this is the energy I want to bring to the table. And that's what we're going to do. And it went very well for us. But I wouldn't have known that at all. I would have never purchased those films if I wouldn't have went. It's also a great one to see like what's not a fit for you, because it's a lot of money and you can just see it and just see, because different things are going to hit for different people for sure. And depending on what you're trying to reach, not everything's for everybody. So it's a great opportunity for that. But my favorite part is getting to feel the energy of the filmmakers and to see if that's the right energy that you want to bring into your facility. It's one of the best ways to do that. And I think that's important for filmmakers to know too, that we're watching through that lens, because I don't think the guys I met in the elevator realized that in that moment, like as soon as we got off the elevator, I was like, those are the people, those kind of people are what I want to bring into. They were just so damn excited to be there. and so excited for that opportunity and to talk to me. And they had no idea who I was, and they just looked like they were having fun, and that was what I wanted to bring. So yeah, I absolutely, if you can get to them, I think they're an amazing experience. Also, you can have a conference over. You can overdo the conferences. Like sometimes you just got to get. You just got to tune in and dial in and get it done, and that's what I had to do. Like I went to several conferences and felt somewhat overwhelmed with just dialing into like my vision and what I needed. So that's also true. You can do too much of that. So I think it's important to just lock in on your vision and definitely do what you can, but then know when it's time to get to work as well.
Awesome points. This has been amazing. Just thank all three of you hugely for providing the insight, providing clarity, answers for questions that it's hard to get answers to. And I know there are a few questions. Angus, you've got some awesome insights. A big shout out to Angus, actually, he's joining us from Johannesburg right now. He's putting on a Fulldome Digital Dome Festival in August. And so, Angus, huge, awesome props to what you're doing. He did have a question on if you had to pick for 3 festivals. Let's make this 3 events, and this will be our last question before we kick off our open floor lounge, which everyone is invited. Ed's already put the link in. This is a call where you can have your camera on. It's just for people that have been on this call. This link is not available to anyone else. So if you want to go ahead and jump on a call where you can connect with your other fellow webinar attendees and then also talk with our guests for a little bit longer, save that link. We're going to be going to that right after answering this question. We're going to go Eda, Tina, Becky. What 3 events, if you had to recommend to your boss, 3 Fulldome or IMAX events each year, what would they be? Go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
They go for Domus Fest.
Oh, good choice. Good choice. All right, all right.
Okay, now. And I would IPS is for us an important one, definitely. And in now Europe is Bruno Film Festival is also one for us, an important one.
Great
Yeah.
answers. Great answers. Tina.
Sorry. So my 3 would be, if you're based in the US, like at a university and you're not doing international travel, I would do regional planetarium conferences, depending on where you're located, like SEPA or MAPS or GLIPA, or go to your regionals or a couple of those regionals, but that would be at least one. Definitely Dome Fest West, absolutely Dome Fest West. And then the regionals, but you want to enter your film or your show, you want to be in Brno, you want to be in Jena, you want to be at Dome Fest West, and if there's an IPS, biannual IPS, and you can be in the IPS festival, for sure. Those would be my suggestions.
Fantastic. All right, Becky, bring it home.
All right, I'll say some of the same stuff, but your local planetary conferences definitely your cheapest way. Like tune into that for sure, or even be willing to go to some of the other ones if you can travel, because that's been very beneficial to me. Reaching out beyond just the Midwest was really helpful to me in making connections, because you just got to find the planetariums that you want to like glean things from, and so it's a great way to meet people and to feel that energy. Like you just can't do that if you're checking them out on Facebook or YouTube or whatever. And a lot of us don't have time for Facebook or YouTube, so you're not going to get to know us very well there. But Dome Fest West is, I know that's been said, but it's just such a great opportunity. It's in a great location. It's a good price point. You get to get a lot in for your time, and you don't have to do a lot of work. It's a lot of fun. So it's a good one for that for sure. I would definitely go again if I could. The one that's been a curveball that probably no one would mention is LDI, and it's been in Las Vegas and it's in New Orleans, but that's a lighting design type. It's a non-planetarium thing, lasers and lighting and stuff. But I like to look at things from outside of our field, and you get to go into private behind the scenes tours of like some of the best clubs and things. And so they show you like the inside tour of some of those things, and I've learned a lot from those venues that are not planetariums to try to recreate similar experiences in our planetarium because of things like the sphere. And, that's what everyone's expecting, that type of stuff. So if we got to level up to compete with the sphere, then if you go into something like that, you're rubbing elbows with those people. So that's been a good one for me as well.
Well said. It is a great opportunity that we have the Sphere doing marketing work for us on the potential of these domes. But man, it is raising the quality level. So get to work, everyone. Keep revising. When you think it's final, and final two for real. Just keep going, keep polishing. And like Tina said, give a distributor a call before you finish your film. Fantastic advice. So many quotable, clippable things. Can we just give a round of applause, digital round of applause to these three amazing voices, thought leaders in distribution, licensing, and the entire ecosystem of getting content seen. Look at all these reactions. Ladies, just thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. And to everyone that is still here that wants to talk a little bit more, that link is in the chat. Save it real quick. As soon as we end our call here, we are going to be jumping into that. And before we do end, I just want to promote that we do have another Fulldome Forum coming up. And this time we're talking about leveraging the festivals to your success as content creators or as venues looking for great content. How do we use film festivals? Some great case examples and lessons from existing content creators. But that is in a month. Grab that link right now. And thank you all again so much. We will see you over them, see you over there. Thank you so much, ladies.